Hi there, my name is Marley and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing a book tag called the Mid-Year Book Freakout. I realized I posted a newbie booktuber tag and I actually got quite a few subscribers from it and a lot of comments from the booktube community, and then I posted a bunch of videos that weren't book related. So I was feeling a bit bad and I wanted to get back to posting more book related videos, so when I saw this tag going around I thought I would do it. So basically this tag is to sort of talk about what books you've read so far this year, since it is June, which is the halfway point. So to start, the first question is, what is the best book that you've read so far in 2020? For me, it would be The Toll by Neil Shusterman. This is the third book in the Scythe series, or the Arc of a Scythe series it's actually called. So not really sure if I can get into details about the third one, but basically the Arc of a Scythe series is a utopian series where the world is basically perfect, like humans have conquered death, we can essentially live forever. As soon as we reach a certain age we can turn a corner, I think they called it. It's been a while since I read it now, and you can go back to looking young again. And the only way that people die pretty much is from scythes, which are people who are trained in this profession to kill people just sort of randomly. Each scythe has a quota that they have to reach, and this is how the world doesn't overpopulate. It's very good. It deals with a lot of big topics, and honestly it was just one of my favorite series to read. If you're into those dystopian books, or even if you're not, honestly it was really good. Not sure what more else to say about that. The next question is, what's the best sequel you've read in 2020? I feel like I haven't read that many sequels because I have mostly been reading standalones instead of series, but one of the duologies I read was One of Us is Lying, and then the sequel is One of Us is Next, and I really enjoyed this series. So this would probably be the sequel that I enjoyed most. These books are murder mysteries that take place with teenagers. This specific one deals with someone who is playing a truth or dare game with the student body and revealing secrets about the students, and our main characters are trying to figure out who it is and who is terrorizing the students basically. However, I am also currently reading The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which is technically a Hunger Games prequel, but that's kind of like a sequel. I wasn't too sure about this book when I heard about it, since it does follow President Snow when he's younger. He's about 18, but I'm actually really enjoying it. I'm almost halfway, and yeah, I was surprised. I got really into it probably the second chapter. It's really interesting to just see the games happening, even if, you know, Snow is not as likable of a character as Katniss was to see the games through. At the end of the day, like, the Hunger Games is still a really interesting idea and topic, so I've been enjoying that. The third question is, what's a new release that you haven't read yet but you want to? So I followed the Booksplosion book club that goes on YouTube with a few of the top booktubers, and I think for this month they're reading You Should See Me in a Crown by Leah Johnson, and I think it came out this month, and I haven't heard too much about it, but I think the cover is really cute. Okay, so for some reason I did not describe what this book was about at all when I filmed this, so I'm just gonna say You Should See Me in a Crown follows a young girl in high school who is too poor to afford university but really wants to get out of her small town. So she decides to try to become prom queen to win the scholarship that the school gives away to the prom queens. So even though she's totally not the type of girl to run for prom queen and get all into that kind of materialistic stuff, she ends up running, and I guess she ends up befriending or meeting this girl who is the new girl and is also trying to run for queen as well. Kind of alludes to the fact that they may fall in love. So it sounds really cute, besides just the cover being cute, which is all that I mentioned for some reason. Number 4 is, what is the most anticipated release for the second half of the year? So I'm someone who doesn't really look forward to like books before they're coming out unless they're a part of a series I'm reading. But for me, it would maybe be Midnight Sun by Stephanie Meyer. I remember reading some of it when it got leaked like years ago, so I don't overly know if I'm that excited for it, but it is a new Twilight book, so obviously I'm gonna get it and I'll read it. But yeah, the whole idea of it being like just Edward's point of view of Twilight is not that exciting, but I'm still excited for it just because it's Twilight. The other book I'm looking forward to, Heart Bones by Colleen Hoover, and I'm just gonna look it up because I really don't know what this is about. I just know it's Colleen Hoover. Goodreads doesn't even say what it's about. That's fun. What is this? A new romance novel from the #1 New York Times bestselling author Colleen Hoover, coming this summer. No description. So I really don't know what this one is about. Is it even coming out this summer? Like, I don't know. Okay, that was sort of a flop, but yeah, that's what I'm looking forward to, I guess. Number 5 is what's been your biggest disappointment this year? This wasn't a huge disappointment, but I would maybe say History Is All You Left Me by Adam Silvera, which I know people adore, and that's why it was a bit disappointing for me, because I feel like Adam Silvera as an author was like so hyped up for me. I think because he's like good friends with a lot of the big YouTubers that I watch, so I just like was super excited for his books because they were, and then they sort of didn't impress me a lot. Like I did enjoy them, but I just wasn't like blown away, I guess, as much as I thought. So that's why it's like was slightly a disappointment. History Is All You Left Me is about a teenage boy whose best friend and ex-boyfriend dies, and it's him coming to terms with that, grieving, and then connecting with the ex-boyfriend's current boyfriend. He passed away, so it's not current, but you know what I mean. His ex-boyfriend's new boyfriend. They end up like connecting and helping each other get over the death of their mutual love. The other book that was disappointing to me was Maybe Now by Colleen Hoover. This was a follow-up book to her book called Maybe Someday, essentially following the same characters, and I just wasn't impressed with where it went. I found it to be very cheesy. I thought that it was going to follow one of the side characters from the first book, and it ended up, you know, following her, but also following the same main characters again, and I just found it to be not super interesting. Number 6 is what's been the biggest surprise for you, and for me that would probably be the One of Us is Lying, One of Us is Next series that I already mentioned. I guess I didn't realize it was like really hyped up in the book world. I just sort of, I don't know why I bought it. I guess I had heard about it a little bit, but I didn't expect for it to be so good. It's not even that it was super like outstanding, but it just sort of reignited my love for like mysteries. But because of that, I read like this other sort of mystery novel, and I'm actually hoping to get back into that and read more mystery / thriller novels during the rest of the year. So that series kind of like inspired that for me, so that was a pleasant surprise. Number 7 is what's your favorite new author, whether that's new to me or new in general. So for me, that would probably be Sarah J. Maas, which probably is such a cliche answer. She's really popular, but I read first book from her last month, Throne of Glass, and I really loved it. Like, I haven't read the second one yet or any more of her books, but I'm really excited to. The Throne of Glass series follows this assassin named Selena. She's basically like the most badass assassin in all the land, and she ends up having to take part in this competition to win her freedom by trying to be the king's personal assassin, personal champion. So it was really exciting, and it's a big series, so I'm excited to keep reading more. Number 8 is newest fictional crush. I think it would be Anna Lightwood from Chain of Glass, Sandra Clare's newest book in her new series. Anna Lightwood is, how does she identify again? I think she's lesbian. But yeah, Anna's like a really cool character. I liked how independent she was. She was really against like gender norms, very badass, loved her. My second crush would probably be Dorian from Throne of Glass, which I already mentioned. He's the king's son, so he's the prince, and he is the one that enters Selena the assassin into the competition and is sort of like rooting for her, and they end up falling in love. Gotta love a prince, you know. So those would be like my 2 bookish crushes. Holy moly, it's me from editing again. I forgot to answer the question of who my new favorite character was, and I was gonna say Matthew Fairchild, also from Chain of Gold. Poor little Matthew has gone through a lot, and he has a lot of self-hatred based on mistakes he made in the past. So he's constantly getting drunk. He's a bit of an alcoholic, a very tormented soul, but he's also such a good friend. And unpopular opinion, I shipped him with Cordelia instead of shipping her with James. So I'm a big Matthew fan, so I just wanted to put this in here while I'm editing in a new location. Number 10 is a book book that made you cry. I love how I like clapped for like the one about crying. This would be Second Chance Summer by Morgan Matson. I don't think I've talked about this book yet because I just read it recently, but it's about a family and the dad is diagnosed with, I believe, pancreatic cancer. So for their kind of final summer together, they go back to the cottage or their summer house that they used to always go to, and they kind of have like their one last summer all together as a family. The reason it was so sad, as you can imagine, is that the dad is sick and you sort of see him deteriorating throughout the novel and throughout the summer. So obviously very upsetting, but very touching story. The relationship between the main character and her father was really nice to read about, along with all the other relationships involved too. Number 11 is a book that made you happy, and for this I would say The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. This is about a girl who hasn't really dated much. She's had a bunch of crushes but never dated, and her sister is like very promiscuous. She has dated a lot, so the main character feels quite left out, but as you can imagine, she does finally start to date in this book, and that's the reason that it made me so happy, is that her and her love interests are super cute and I really enjoyed reading about them. 12 is What is the Most Beautiful Book You've Bought or Received This Year. I've actually not bought a lot of books this year, like physically, because I've been reading ebooks. It's really good for me to just put them on my e-reader. I used to commute to work on the subway, so it's very light for me to just pull out and read. However, I did purchase A Chain of Gold, which I think would be the most beautiful. I love Cordelia's orange hair, like me, you know, redheads unite, but I think this one would be the prettiest. It's not even that great actually now that I'm looking at it, but it's still pretty, and I haven't bought that many books, so there's not too much competition. This one's like kind of pretty, but only like the gold. Like I don't love the green. 13 is What Books Do You Need to Read for the Rest of the Year? My hair is falling. I really want to read the rest of the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. As I said, I enjoyed the first one so much. I'm looking forward to reading more about what happens with Selena and also to see more of the romances. My friend has read the books and she's really excited for me to keep reading. Apparently, a new guy comes in. It's already a love triangle. Apparently, a new guy comes in and she's excited for me to see that. So I also want to read The June Boys by Courtney Stevens. This was another book that the Booksplosion book club read a couple months ago, and hearing them talk about it really interests me. It sounds like it's about a town where every June or every summer a group of boys disappears. I don't know if it's every year or if it's like every once in a while a group of boys like disappears and then they will return after, and no one knows why they're taken. And I think one day a boy shows up dead. So this is the first time one's actually shown up dead, so it's kind of like a mystery, like who's taking these boys and like what's going on. So I think that book sounds really interesting. I'm very intrigued to know why the boys are being kidnapped and why like they're being let go after. Pretty weird. But anyway, that is my mid-year book freakout tag. This has been fun. I feel like I haven't read as many. Well, I've read I think 22 books or so, and I want to read 50, so I'm pretty much halfway there. I'm pretty much in line with my goals, but I feel like there's so many books I still want to read, like so many on my TBR. Like I just said, Throne of Glass. I want to read more thrillers. Like there's just so many. But anyways, thanks for watching. I'll try and make more book videos soon, since my newbie booktube video did so well, like I don't know, 50 views, but still for me that's good. So subscribe if you want, and thanks for watching. Bye.